And welcome back. After a 4-month break, football fans are absolutely salivating at the prospect of the return of European football. And every kick of the Champions League and Europa League will be right here on Virgin Media's Festival of Football. And joining us now to go through it is Republic of Ireland Assistant Manager and Virgin Media Sport pundit Keith Andrews. Keith, very good morning to you.
Morning, Aidan. How you doing?
I'm good, pal. Thanks for joining us. So, 26 games across 19 days. Are you festival ready?
Yeah, I think so. I think, look, we've had a flavour of it with the domestic leagues getting back up and running over recent weeks. And now we're getting to the creme de la creme of European football with some of the best teams left in Europe. Obviously, Liverpool not in it, unfortunately. But Man City looking very, very strong. So it's going to be intriguing to see which team can progress, which team has been prepared in the best way, because it's a totally different dynamic than what the coaching staff, medics, fitness people have been used to, obviously, with the disruption to the seasons.
So PSG and Atletico Madrid, they're already through to the quarters. So of the remaining teams, who do you think will join them? Let's start with City first. I mean, they're taking on Real Madrid. They do have that 2-1 advantage going into the game. And for Pep and City, the pressure's really on them to secure some silverware, albeit the biggest one.
Yeah, I have to be honest, I wasn't one of those that would have said in recent seasons, just because he doesn't bring home Champions League silverware, that's mission unaccomplished. I think he's done a magnificent job at Manchester City. But when you look at this season alone, the way Liverpool have won the Premier League, I think this is what they've been gearing up for. I really do. I think all the games in the Premier League, the resting of certain players. Unfortunately, Aguero looks like he might miss out, not confirmed. But Gabriel Jesus was outstanding in Madrid, and he came up with a tactical plan that day in Madrid that really undone Real Madrid. But it's a different type of Real Madrid now. They've just won La Liga. They're probably in a slightly better place. The questions still remain around Gareth Bale as to, does his face fit entirely with Zinedine Zidane? Probably not, if we're being entirely honest. But still a dangerous player to come off the bench nonetheless.
And for Chelsea, they really have a mountain to climb. They've obviously got to pick themselves back up from the defeat in the FA Cup final last night, and they've got to overturn a 3-0 deficit away to Bayern. Is that possible?
Probably unlikely, let's be honest. It's been done. Obviously, Liverpool last year with Barcelona springs to mind in recent memory. But when you look at Chelsea in particular, I think there's flaws to the way they play, the naivety defensively, the way they're set up. And I think overall he's done a very, very good job securing Champions League football for next year by finishing in the top 4 in the Premier League. Obviously, yesterday, FA Cup runners-up won't have sat particularly well with Frank Lampard. But this particular game, I think you're coming up against one of the strongest teams in the competition. I really do. I think they've got an outstanding centre forward, an all-round centre forward, and Robert Lewandowski, who can take chances from practically nothing. And they're a very well balanced side. The manager came in just before Christmas, changed things, tweaked things, and it looks to be a slightly happier camp. So they would certainly be one of my favourites to lift the trophy.
And do you see Barcelona and Juventus going through to the next round? I mean, Barcelona are 1-1 with Napoli. Juventus need to overturn a 1-0 deficit to Lyon.
Yeah, not entirely happy camps either. Maurizio Sarri, the way he sets up, he can divide opinion. It hasn't been the Sarri ball that was probably thrown at him and accused of maybe playing a certain type of way, trying to emulate Napoli with Chelsea's players last season. But when you look at what he's done at Juve, he's brought back, it's his first league title. He said he's got league titles, but in terms of the top division in Serie A, that's his first one. So they'll be in a decent vein of form, but I don't think everything is quite well. Dybala was injured in the last couple of weeks, and he's been outstanding going back just before that. So if him and Ronaldo can form that relationship, I would expect him to overturn that 1-0 deficit to Lyon. And Barcelona, again, far from a happy camp. Lionel Messi, publicly in recent weeks, has come out and said a few things that make you think slightly worried about where he's going to be, or is he playing a little bit of a clever game in terms of extending his contract.
Now, in the Europa League, Keith, is it a free hit for Manchester United? I mean, they've already secured Champions League football for next season. And also, how much does Ole put into this, given that the restart of the Premier League season is only a few weeks away?
Yeah, it's a difficult one because he wants silverware. It's Manchester United. He has to be aiming to win this competition, and I think they're well capable of doing that. Since the restart of the Premier League, I think in the main they've been very, very impressive, and they've turned into a side that I actually enjoy watching. We've seen glimpses of that, certainly at Europa League level in recent months before the lockdown. I thought we've seen glimpses of what they're capable of, but the type of chemistry, the type of football that they've started to produce with Mason Greenwood on the right-hand side. It's a devastating front three when they're all clicking with the attributes that they have, the pace, the power, the intricacy and the movements that they have. And then if Bruno Fernandes and Paul Pogba can sustain the type of relationship that they've shown glimpses of again, then it's very, very promising. So they have to be thinking it's all about winning this competition, because they're certainly capable of it.
Keith, let's talk about Ireland. A really exciting time ahead under new management. You're part of the coaching setup along with Damien Duff and Alan Kelly. There's great optimism amongst Irish fans at the moment, and there's good reason to be as well. So I guess you're facing into your own festival of football. I mean, you have 6, potentially 7 games coming in the next 10 weeks.
Yeah, it's a tight schedule, obviously, as we know. Everything has been condensed around the footballing calendar, and international level is certainly no different. Look, we've had a lot of time, obviously, in recent months since the announcement to get down and get some homework done and make sure we're organised, make sure we're as ready as possible. And I'm with all those people. I'm excited. You know, first and foremost, I'm an Irish fan. I always have been. I grew up as a young boy wanting to play for Ireland, not to play for Manchester United or Liverpool. It was always about Ireland. So I'm excited to get going. I really am. It'll be different, of course, with restrictions in place, whether it'll be fans allowed or limited fans, no fans. We'll just have to play that as it comes to us. But I'm thoroughly looking forward to the game starting in September.
And the optimism that is felt by Irish football fans that there's kind of a new era, it's justified with the amount of new talent coming through, particularly striking talent. How much of that are we going to see in the first squad announced for the September fixture?
Yeah, I think the manager's spoken about it in recent weeks about, he needs to be careful. I think just because he managed the 21s, everybody assumes everybody's going to step up into the senior team. But we've got some very, very good, talented senior internationals, and we're going to be trying to maximise exactly what they have, of course. But we know the young players very, very well, and it's very much reliant on, at times, I think, how much game time they get at club level, because it's very vital for their development. Slightly different when you're playing 21s football. It's not the be all and end all if you're not playing week in, week out for your respective club team. But you're right in terms of we should be excited by these young players, because I've worked in and around some of them for numerous years, gone back to under 15s and 16s level, and they're very, very promising young players, and we'll certainly make sure we do everything we can to nurture that talent.
And finally, Keith, on game time, a good move for Troy Parrott going to Millwall?
Yeah, just tying in, Aidan, to what I just said about game time. It was probably frustrating for Troy that he wasn't allowed leave in January. Jose Mourinho felt it was necessary to keep him at the club. Didn't really get any game time, and then he's had a little bit of an injury, which hasn't helped. So brilliant for him. I think he's absolutely ready. Loved working with him with the 21s in terms of his mentality, and again, going back to that ability that him and a lot of the other young players have. So it's great to see him get that move.
Great stuff. Keith, it's lovely to chat with you. We wish you and the Ireland team all the very best for the upcoming fixtures, kicking off with the Nations League against Bulgaria in just a few weeks' time. Thank you, Keith.
Thanks, Aidan. Take care.
Now, the Festival of Football kicks off with a preview show tomorrow night at 10 p.m. on Virgin Media 1, with the first games in the Europa League on Wednesday. Now, after the break, Simon is on kitchen duty. There's a lamb casserole on the menu next. Waft it.